600 wins, 6 Georgia State championships, 16 regional championships, 2-time National Coach of the Year, first team from Georgia to win the City of Palms Classic, the nation's #1 high school tournament, first team in Georgia history to attend the Dick's Sporting Goods National Tournament of Championships. He's produced numerous NBA players and professional basketball players all over the world. It's real basketball talk. It's real help and real life with Coach Doug Lipscomb on the BG Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 29 of Real Life Basketball. I'm Nick Paparelli, the producer, and as always, we're sitting here with legendary coach Doug Lipscomb. How you doing, Doug?
Great. Good to be here.
Awesome. Usually we would have Darren Sutherland, our big country, sitting here and talking to you guys, but luckily for y'all get to hear the producer today. Darren had to go fight some fires and take care of some personal business, so we wish it all goes well for you, Darren.
Oh, he's going to be fine.
He always is. He always is creative enough to find a way to fix any problem. But we have a special show coming up for you today. We have no interview. Well, we kind of have an interview. I talked to Doug about what it's like to coach the McDonald's All-American game, the day-by-day schedule, the scrimmage that we got to witness of all the highlight plays. We're going to talk about which players impressed us, which players are going to really make an impact in college basketball next year. And then we're going to end it by talking about the Final Four. We're going to see which teams we have versus Loyola versus Michigan and who's going to win Villanova versus Kansas. How does that sound, Doug?
Sounds good, and also want to invite everybody to go out to the McDonald's All-American game and support the boys and the girls games. It's at 5 and at 7, and Luda will be in the house tonight.
Ludacris, you just talk about legendary rappers of Atlanta, and he's the #1 on my list, I know that. And if you have trouble finding this game, it's right at Phillips Arena, and before you walk in, you see a legendary statue of Dominique Wilkins. Somehow they put a number 23 McDonald's All-American game jersey on it, and I still can't figure out how they did that.
Well, it's amazing how you can Velcro things on, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's the simple way to look at it instead of me thinking about, well, this arm sleeve goes here and this arm sleeve goes here, and maybe that will fit over. But here we go. Let's jump right on into our talk. But first, a little message from our sponsors.
Real Life Basketball is brought to you by the all-new 2018 K900 at Carriage Kia of Woodstock and Gainesville. Buy your new K900 from Carriage Kia and we'll fly you in or come pick you up for delivery. Visit carriagekia.com 24/7, 365 days a year. For America's best deal on the K900, call Chris Stanford directly at 1-866-333-2122. That's 1-866-333-2122.
Welcome to Real Life Basketball at the BG Podcast Network. Let's get on into this. Doug, what did we do yesterday?
We went down to Phillips Arena and saw the scrimmage game between the McDonald's All-Americans, East and West team. We got there a little late for the girls' game, and the traffic was normal Atlanta traffic. But we did get to see the guys. Normal
red line on that Google Maps.
Yes.
Normal little bit. Yeah, Doug, so you've coached that how many times?
Got to coach it one time.
One time. So we see that these boys get in on Saturday and they have a busy week. What's a day in the life of a McDonald's All-American coach?
Well, the schedule's changed this year. This year they report on Sundays, and then they have a practice on Monday. Well, Sunday's basically greet, meet, get to know everybody. Monday they have practice, and then they'll go to the Ronald McDonald's house where they get to, meet the kids. And I think that's the most exciting part of giving back to the community and being involved with the children. And then they have the Powerade Slam dunk contest that night.
Yeah, and let's talk about that Powerade Slam dunk contest. We had a surprise winner for the men's. Do you know who it was?
No, you tell me.
Oh, I'll tell you. Zion Williamson. Not just his highlights in high school where he's dunking over little boys, but he was dunking from the free throw line, and man, he's a whole bit of that 6'7", 270, just monster of a man-child.
Well, I think you can, when you see him tonight, you're going to see he's really worked on his body, outside shot, and his overall game.
And let's not forget about the girl up in Winder, Georgia. Olivia Nelson Adota. She's going to Connecticut, and she was actually part of the dunk contest. She slammed one down, and she got all 10s. It was with ease. It was easier than what I've seen Candace Parker do, than what the girl from Baylor that now plays for Phoenix is doing. She's going to be quite a specimen.
Oh, yeah, she's with a pretty good program as well.
Yeah, she's that Connecticut team. They're undefeated this year, probably going to win the tournament, and let's watch them go undefeated again next year. That Connecticut head coach just doesn't know how to lose.
Well, it always pays to have good athletes as well. Superb athletes, I might say.
That's awesome. And then we got to see, since we were a little late, because as always, that's what we are known to do, we got to sit there and actually watch the men's scrimmage, which was amazing. We sat down and saw them do a little shoot around, and then there was a continuous 20-minute clock running, and we were seeing highlight play after highlight play. What did you see at that scrimmage, Doug?
Well, I tell you, I really liked the energy level. The guys, they did pick up their defense more than usual, but a lot of scoring was going on. And let me go ahead and add this as well. Let me finish out their weekly schedule. Last night, they had a banquet where they received their rings, and that's always a very, very fun time. Just to experience that as a coach and have your players get their McDonald's All-American rings. That's great. Okay, Wednesday, today they're going to have a shoot-around, and then the games will be tonight, where the girls will play at 5. You need to leave early so you can get your parking done and get into the game, and the boys will play at 7. Okay, then they go back home on Thursday. So that's a very, very active week where they get to fellowship with future pros, just like most of them will be, and just an overall good atmosphere.
Talking about future pros, when you were coaching, I was talking to your friend Mike, and he was ripping on you for sitting Conley the whole game, and now Conley's making over $100 million for his contract.
Well, let's back up. He played pretty much as much as everybody else. I was not in charge with the time, keeping up with the time, but it is amazing. He has one of the best attitudes that I've been around as a player. Very mild-mannered person, very humble, and Mike Conley, he's a great guy. He's a grown man now, and I wish him the best.
The maestro. I don't know if you ever saw that Justin Timberlake video that kept him in Memphis, but that's one of a kind.
Yes.
You also are keeping it down under. You don't sound salty at all that they put Kevin Durant on the West team instead of them being on the East team during your time.
Well, I guess they wanted to give him a fair chance, you know. So. But, at the end of the day, it was all about, hanging out with the kids at the Ronald McDonald house, and like I said, we had a blast, and the kids loved the kids, the girls and the boys coming to visit them.
Yeah, it's kind of pretty funny you're saying they wanted to give him a fair chance. I heard that's the same reason he joined Golden State. He wanted the rest of the NBA to have a fair chance of winning.
That increased his chances of winning, right?
Yes, it does. So let's get back and talk about this scrimmage. Well, first off, let me talk about this. So we walked into the McDonald's All-American game, and I'm with Coach Doug. He has his name on the gym at Wheeler High School. He's a legend around here, but I didn't know he was a national legend. We walked in there. Zion's father came up and gave him a hug right away and told you how good you looked. And then EJ's parents came up and said the same thing. So, Coach, you're somehow all over this nation, even though you haven't been coaching for 6 months now.
Yeah, well, I've had a great time coaching, and I had the opportunity of working with Zion over the summer with our kids. And EJ is fantastic. His parents are super, and so are Zion's parents. They've had their kids well-rounded and very good attitudes. And it was a pleasure to see both families last night. I didn't get the opportunity to coach EJ his senior year, but I was at a lot of his games, and he's definitely gotten better. I can't wait to see where he's going to decide to go, because I'll be going to watch those games like I did everybody else this year.
Yeah, that's both those kids, you can tell, just have good roots with their parents, really pushing their kids to do the best and make the best decisions. even though Zion didn't go to Clemson or South Carolina, as we all predicted at Real Life Basketball, he went over to Duke, but that's just going to make a three-headed monster, and I'm going to already make my bracket for next year, and Duke's going to win. Hopefully I'll get better than 17 percentile.
Yeah, I'm glad to see him pick a school of that caliber as well. I mean, you can't go wrong with anybody you choose. I was amazed, and I looked at some of the kids that are going to schools like Vanderbilt definitely is going to need these two kids. The kid Darius Garland, and I hope. How do you pronounce the last kid's name?
I don't want to get censored, but I'm going to say it's Shatua.
Okay, well, Shatua, I hope he gets well. I think he had an injury with one of his knees, and they could definitely use those kids at Vanderbilt right now.
Oh, yeah, they can. Vanderbilt could use a lot. Even though they beat Kentucky this year and were celebrating like they just won the NCAA tournament, they got some building blocks coming in there. Let's get started to talk about what happened in this game. So me and Doug arrived. We walked down, of course, on the wrong side, and we're sitting between a Celtics scout, a Golden State scout, Raptors scout. Didn't see a Hawks scout. We need a Hawks scout there, but I guess we'll get the videos. And we're watching these kids and judging them just like Golden State would. We're knowing what they're going to be recruited as, see what's going on. And we watched those guys come out and shoot around, and the most impressive person I saw to start out the whole game was a little 6'2" point guard, Devin Dotson from Providence Day School in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's going to Kansas. He was the first one out. He looked like he had a little Russell Westbrook edge, and he went right away, slammed that ball home, and then started to take fadeaway threes in the corner and was just drilling it all. Who did you see in that shoot-around, Coach, that made you just go, wow?
Well, that was funny that you mentioned that, because Jay, can't think of his last name right now, came out and shot his first shot and hit it from the corner, the commentator. And I thought that was good. And they went out, had a little shooting practice, them two right there, those two. So, I mean, it was overall a very fun, active day. Let's go back up into the girls really quick. I see Jenna Brown, who went to Lovett, is going to Stanford. And I see, like say, Olivia is going to UConn. And then I go on down the roster a little bit further. I have Elizabeth from Hamilton Heights. She's going to Georgia Tech. I see another Elizabeth Dixon. She's going to Georgia Tech as well. I don't see anybody on there that's going to Georgia or anywhere. We need to get on that.
Yeah, we need to figure out how to get them there over Tech. I know Tech's a harder school to get into. Come on, UGA. You can do a little better.
Yeah. The guys are trying to make it come up, so hopefully they will too.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be back competing, getting that NCAA tournament. We saw Auburn and Alabama do it this past year. It took 2 years for them to get going, but come on, UGA, you got it, didn't you?
Let's get it.
So, but yeah, let's talk about the girls for a minute. The girls' game was pretty entertaining. A bunch of three-pointers were shot, a bunch of athletic layups, just everything. They were on top of it playing hard, and I know this. I bet a few of these girls could compete against the guys in the team on the game if you really put them out there.
Oh yeah, they're definitely sound, and I look forward to seeing them in college as well. There are a few more things that we looked at. Who do you think they? Some of the rankings said that be major impact players their first year in college. Who do you think that stuck out?
For the women or
boys.
for the men?
Let's go for the boys right now.
For the boys. One guy that I think is going to make a surprising impact that no one had listed on there is Naz Reed from Roselle Catholic High School in New Jersey. He's committed to LSU. This man walked out. They say he's only 6'10". He is all about 7 feet tall. They said 240. He's about 260. He looked like a grown man. I'm 25 years old, and he looked 30. I would not mess with that man if I was in a public park in the bright daylight. I'll tell you that much. He was scary. And once he got under there, he had a big baby Davis-like attitude, bumping people out of the way, getting those rebounds, and making athletic plays. He had back-to-back steals where he had to sprint across the whole court to catch the ball in the air, just like a wide receiver. Just phenomenal athleticism with phenomenal size. I think LSU will have a great time having this big man playing the 4 for him.
Sounds really good. Moses Brown, undecided, very big body, 7'1", 240. Can't wait to see where he's going to go, as well as E.J. Montgomery. I'm looking
Knowing how this whole recruiting class is going, he'll probably be going to Duke.
No, I think they've sized that up on who's going to be playing the most.
I think so too, but Zion still isn't 7'1".
Yes.
But keep on looking at these kids coming out. You had Boyles come out, who plays for Oregon. He's 7 feet tall, just skinny as a rail, but reminds you of a young Antetokounmpo, or ABC as I like to call him because his name's so hard to say. You had a few pounds on there, plus his dad played in the NBA. This kid has a bright future. He will go to Oregon, and he will be a one and done, but if he stayed 2 or 3 years, he could be for the Naismith Player of the Year award.
Yes. It's a lot of talent out there.
A whole bunch. Let's keep on going through this. Another player that I believe will make a giant impact is going to be R.J. Barrett. That's common knowledge for everyone. Everyone knows he's going to Duke. He's lightning quick. He's 6'7", 200. You can put him at the 3-4 or 5, spread the court, and Duke's just going to have a phenomenal time watching this guy fly down the court and just slam it home with his partner Zion.
Yes, his speed is eye-taking, it's eye-catching. I mean, because you never know. He just goes into a burst, and he's already at the rim. You know?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Let's talk about. Let's go back and talk about EJ and what you think his recruiting future's like, since he's still undecided also.
Yeah, the sky's the limit for EJ. He's definitely improved every year. He's gotten stronger. And very good attitude overall. He's going to work on both ends of the court. So I like his upside for sure.
Yeah, it's just tremendous. Why don't you think he's committed to a team yet?
Well, he had committed, then he decommitted. So I guess he's feeling like he want to make sure we get that thing right this time.
I can understand that. Actually, I really don't understand that. I was a 6-foot lineman for a single-A private school, so my recruiting future was I can go to college and pay for it. And that's what I did, and I've been there for 6 years, and it's been a fun ride. Hopefully I can go for 7.
No, let's be reasonable now.
Let's be reasonable.
Enjoy it while you can.
I could be a doctor by now, right?
Or close to it.
Or close to it.
Yes. Or having a great time here with me. You know?
Yeah, or keep filling in for Darren while he's fighting fires.
There you go.
But let's get to the one kid that everyone talked about that had an ESPN commitment that showed everybody what dunking truly mean, Zion Williamson. What did you see out of Zion during this scrimmage?
Well, I saw that he could take over at any time. I think the first time he touched the ball, it was a dunk.
It was a little.
Yeah.
It was a little bit too easy.
So, and it was on a player. No, so
it was. He didn't even have speed to run. He just jumped up. Shaquille O'Neal dunked that.
Yeah. So he's going to be exciting. Of course, everybody wants to see how he's going to perform at the next level, and this starts it all tonight. So.
Yeah. Make sure you tune in and watch this game. It's coming on at 7 o'clock on ESPN. The next one you can watch, the next replay of it will be 11 o'clock on ESPN2, and it's always on Watch ESPN. It's just some great time of just watching these young kids overperform, show off for the scouts. I didn't see much defense played yesterday, so I'm going to take a guess there's not going to be much defense played today. What do you think, Coach?
I think it'll be played in spurts, because you definitely want to stop the penetration, but it's going to be hard with the drive and the dish. I mean, they do that so well, and their athletic is everything. I mean, that's a nice way to state it.
Yeah, how many windmill dunks did we see yesterday? 2 or 3?
Yeah, I know they got a replacement goal right there in the back just in case.
Yeah, they do, especially since Phillips Arena is under reconstruction.
And they're doing a good job with it.
Yes, sir. So I'm not going to spoil of who won the scrimmage. It was pretty lopsided when we looked at the score as we were leaving. But, Coach, who do you think is going to bring it home this year, East or West?
East.
East.
Yes.
That's a good choice. That's who I think I'm going to go with too. Is East. I'm expecting a lot of highlight plays out of the Duke. Big 2 on that team, and then just to see Naz just standing there, just watching this physical specimen with his full beard already, is pretty remarkable and pretty amazing. It really does show the difference between the tire athlete that we are, Coach, and the tire athlete that they are.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll see them move on after this. It will be a great time. I know everyone's going to have a real fun time, and I know these boys can't wait to get home.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit more about these kids' future, more about an NCAA tournament, though. Not many of their teams made it to the Final Four. We got a couple Kansas kids, and we got no Loyola kids. Who would have thought? I thought Sister Jean would throw little prayers out there, and they'd get Zion and RJ and Moses and Darius and Louis King.
Well, if you think about it now, this is what's so amazing. Duke was 1 inch, maybe less than an inch away from going to the Final Four when you get your guy to shoot the shot and it banks around in the rim and it goes, oh, it's out.
Yeah.
Now they still had an opportunity to win in overtime, but it was like they just shut down. So that hats off go to Kansas for the job that they've done. They got a kid committed to them, and that's David McCormick. So
Oak Hill Academy, the famous basketball school. So we know that he'll be turning out pretty well. Did Mello go to Oak Hill? Am I wrong about that?
He went. Yes,
Yes, he did, yeah.
And Keldon Johnson, also from Oak Hill. Let's see, who else? No, my bad. Trey Jones.
Well, look at that. Oak Hill has 2 players and Mount Verde only 1.
Wait a minute,
Or am I wrong?
Let me back up right here. Quentin Grimes is going to Kansas, and Devin Dotson, your guy.
And Devin Dotson, the little engine that could. Yeah. He'll really be getting
the little engine that will.
And that will, yeah. It will be a good basketball season next year. It's sad to see that this by our next episode, basketball season's over, or at least college basketball season. Then you got to pay attention to the NBA, and we all know who's going to be in the Final Four for the NBA.
Well, we got a lot of. It's going to be some shaking up things going on right there too. It's going to be good.
You'll start, real life basketball fans, get ready. We got a lot of NBA talk coming for the coming months, especially for the long playoffs that they have coming.
Yeah, Golden State will be well by then, if you get what I'm saying. I mean, they got about 5 people on the injured reserve list right now, you know, with hangnails and eyelashes in the eye and stuff like that, you know.
Yep, they'll be ready to go, and Chris Paul and James Harden will be on fire to challenge them. But I'm counting 3 on Houston's team, and I'm counting 5 or 6 on Golden State's team. So
yeah, with I guess
we'll see what's happening then. Hopefully Jaylen Brown will be back.
Yes, and Kyrie.
So they can overtake the Raptors, and maybe Coach can get hooked up with a little bit of championship tickets from his old student.
Hooked up? You know I have to pay for everything.
Yeah, I know. We're still waiting for our Jaylen Brown shirts to come in, and you keep trying to tax us.
Yeah, it's coming. It's in the mail.
It's in the mail. Oh man, just really, really exciting times going on. Let's actually jump over and talk about the Final Four coming up. So we got Loyola and Michigan to start it all off. Both squads are very surprising to me. I had Michigan losing pretty early, which is also a reason all my brackets got busted after the second round. And definitely did not have Loyola. I'm a Miami fan at heart. I thought Miami was going to beat them, beat Tennessee, and move on. But, man, they keep just going out there and playing team ball and exploding. It's a remarkable run they're on.
It is, and it's so enjoyable to watch because, you know, everybody roots for the underdog, and they are well deserved. I mean, they've come a long way, and they're playing real basketball. I mean, like team basketball, and you don't have a lot of chances to make mistakes against Loyola. You don't.
No, you do not. And it's funny. I can't even tell you what their coach looks like, tell you what a player sounds like. Everything is going to Sister Jean right away. Every interview, every drop down is going to the 98-year-old nun that's been following this team for 30 years. Coach, I'm a Braves fan, I'm a Falcons fan, I'm an Atlanta fan to death, and every year my heart is broken by Atlanta sports. I can't imagine following Loyola Chicago for 30 years.
Well, let's just put it like this. You've had people following the Falcons for that long as well.
That is true. We won't even talk about the Super Bowl from 2 years ago, or else I might cry, throw a mic, or never see me again on real life basketball.
let me tell you something what's amazing. When I was a little kid, we used to go to the Braves games. The boys club would take us, and it was so amazing. We could go in the game and sit anywhere we wanted to and catch foul balls because they just bounce around, and there was nobody to – we were chasing the balls for ourselves. So then all of a sudden now, what a seat costs about $200 or something just for one seat. So.
You go on a weekday, you can go get a seat for $8, but
with binoculars, probably.
With binoculars, that is for sure. But baseball season is coming up. I don't want to get us off track and talking about that too much because I could give you all my predictions and they are guaranteed to be right. Just email us at Real Life Basketball or BG Podcast Network at gmail.com and I'll give you some of my predictions.
Well, I'm going to say this. I had Villanova and I have Kansas on my charts for the Final Four. I picked Kansas to win. I'm kind of shaking on that one right now. So
I have Villanova taking it home. I was listening to Sports Talk Radio here in Atlanta. We have a Villanova great, Brian Finneran, who played wide receiver in the NFL for multiple years, went over to Europe. He actually was the announcer for the game, I think, 2 years ago when they won, or 3 years ago. They brought in him to be the announcer. He did a great job, and he was giving me some Villanova hints before. They've only lost a handful of games in 3 years, and they are hotter than ever right now. And I have Villanova moving on from that Kansas game and taking the whole NCAA championship home.
And you're right, probably right. Well, I'll tell you what, I think the following of Loyola is going to be amazing. If they win and go to the championship, that'll probably be one of the most watched events in a very long time.
If Loyola goes to the championship, they're taking it home.
Ooh.
That's a hot team. I can't stop watching them. I have them beating Michigan. Might be one out of the very few that think that's going to happen, but it's just unprecedented what they're doing right now.
It is. And, you got to give them major credit. I started to be mean to you and say, so, when you pick teams, they definitely going to lose, like Darren does. Well, but we'll see.
Let's hope that's not the case. I hope I have a little better luck than Darren, even though he picked Texas Tech to win last week, right?
It was either Darren or Stacy, one of those.
Darren or Stacy, yeah, that's phenomenal. Just his streak of losers that he's picked. If we were taking lines right now, he would be on a cold streak, and he'd be down a lot.
Yeah, well, a lot of us would be if we had to go by our original brackets, that's for sure.
I check my original bracket every day on ESPN.com. I put 4 brackets on our bracket challenge, and I'm getting rocked by all the Real Life Basketball fan listeners. It's pretty extraordinary how many of you. Coach, you want to hear something funny about the brackets in our league?
Let me hear it.
We had one person pick UMBC over Virginia. I asked her, I said, what made you pick UMBC over Virginia? You want to know what her answer was?
Probably didn't know who it was.
She said the colors. I looked up, I did the math for all this. It was mind-blowing. She was one of the 2.1% of all brackets to choose that upset.
That's good.
Told her to go buy a lottery ticket right away and split the winnings.
Yeah, which is about, $400 million now?
Yeah. Just a little less than Michael Conley's contract.
Thanks, Mike.
Way to get after it with the Memphis Grizzlies. Oh, man. Coach, you want to talk about, before we wrap all this up, do you want to talk about who else you saw and interviewed down there at the McDonald's All-American game?
Well, I had the opportunity to hang out a little bit with Joey Wooten, who is Morgan Wooten's son. And in case some of you don't know, Morgan Wooten coached at least 46 years at DeMatha. And Joey, his son, is at Bishop O'Connell. Very good program. Had an opportunity to see John Rose, the main guy for Beach Ball Classic. he's always good fun to talk with. And other than that, Mike Slocum, who has been with the McDonald's game good 30 years at least. He was over the dunk contest. He's going to retire this year, and we're going to miss him being involved with the McDonald's game.
Let me tell my Mike Slocum story real fast. So I grew up in Marietta, Georgia, right across the street from Soap Creek Elementary in a neighborhood called Wardmead Farms. Don't remember my neighbors that well. Didn't interact with them that many besides my brother's friends. But we get to the McDonald's All-American game, and Doug's talking about his contact, and we go down, and I meet Mike Slocum, and I go, "My name is Nick Paparelli." I shake his hand. He tells me, "I know who you are. You grew up in Marietta, right?" He blew me away. I had to sit down. I figured out who he was. He was the guy that gave away the best Halloween candy every year. You want to know what was the best Halloween candy? It was Coca-Cola cans, because he worked for the Coke company, and me and my friends would dress up in 4 to 5 different costumes just to get a 6-pack of Coke. So, Mike, I want to thank you from the Paparelli family for everything you've done, for making Wardmead Farms great, and for giving us VIP passes to see the premier high school basketball players.
Well, thanks again, Slocum. He's always been a friend of mine. His son played for me. Ben, super guy. Miss Slocum, super mom. So, part of the Wildcat family that we've started and keep it going.
And we're going to take a short break real fast. And thanks to Carriage Kia and Julio Jones Kia for supporting real-life basketball for these last couple months. We really appreciate it. And make sure you stop by Carriage Kia or call them up to get a K900. They will fly you out.
Come see the Carriage family and experience the Carriage difference.
Kia is keeping it real with the all-new 2018 K900. Drive the car LeBron James drives and other NBA players call their preferred vehicle of choice. And right now, Carriage Kia of Woodstock and Gainesville has your new K900 ready for delivery. Go online, handle everything, then upon completion, we will fly you in to pick up your new K900 or deliver it directly to you. Call Chris Stanford directly at 1-866-333-2122. That's 1-866-333-2122. Ask for Chris Stanford. Carriage Kia, 24/7, 365 days a year at carriagekia.com.
Come see the Carriage family and experience the Carriage difference.
And welcome back to Real Life Basketball with the producer Nick Paparelli and legendary coach, 600 wins, 6 state championships. He got on me the state championships thing earlier today, Doug Lipscomb. Well, we had quite the day today. We talked about EJ, we talked about Nasri, Darren Dotson, Zion, his parents, and just real interesting people we met.
Yeah, EJ's parents are always...
Coach, I forgot to ask you, where do you think EJ will end up?
Well, I know where I'd like to see him go, but I won't. That's my own personal opinion. But I think he's going to have some very, very good options. I mean, if you're looking at Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, just to name a few.
Well, let's make these Wildcats fans happy, and we'll say he's going to commit to Kentucky.
Well, you said that. I didn't say that. But either way
That's
it goes.
straight from Nick Paparelli's mouth. You can quote me on that.
Yeah.
EJ is going to go to Kentucky.
Either way you look at it, his options are very good. And I'm looking forward to him continuing his career along with Usher. Jordan Usher, Jordan Tucker, Darius Perry, Kenny Ananye, Rodolfo Lewis. I hope I didn't leave out anybody.
You got me excited for a second talking about Usher. I didn't know he was going back to college basketball. I thought he'd stay in the
No,
studio.
not that one.
Oh, okay.
This is Jordan Usher, USC. Well, all right.
But, yeah, those are pretty impressive players, pretty great speculations of where they'll end up. Let's just wrap this up with Darren Dotson. You are becoming my new favorite player, and I look forward to seeing you play at UConn. I still think Loyola is going to go to the finals. And what about you, Coach?
Well, I picked Kansas to be in the championship game. And it's going to be tough for them to get past Villanova. All the Final Four games are going to be tough. I look forward to if Loyola gets to the championship game, it'll be one of the most televised, watched finals in the history of basketball. And I got one more question to you.
Go for it.
What about Colin Sexton going in the first round of the NBA draft? What do you think about that?
That's a question that I've been reflecting on for the past couple months. As you know, I went to Alabama for 3 football seasons. It's just amazing. You stop down in that town, and then you stop counting years. You start counting football seasons. But Colin Sexton, whenever the lights were the brightest, he showed up. He averaged 28, 29 a game in the SEC tournament, going off. He went to the NCAA tournament, won the first round. No one expected them to win it, and he did it. Went to Villanova, and if Spellman didn't hit a record number of threes, Alabama would have played that a lot closer than the score says. I think Colin will end up going in the first round around 7 or 8 if he goes. I'm hoping he stays one more year to get his draft stock up a little bit, and that's a really big hope, but whoever he goes to will be amazing. If the Atlanta Hawks get him and Dennis Schroeder could tear up that court.
Well, I like the Hawks, but no. And as far as his number in the draft, if he's in that first round, that's awesome. But I could see Mr. Sexton and Miss Sexton and Coach Washington and the rest of the young Bulls entourage somewhere near the green room, which is unbelievable. Trust me.
Really is. I hope the best. And shout out to George Washington. Go listen to his show talking about Colin. It's really great. Well, Coach, I think that's all we had to talk about today. We can we have to tell you guys that we won't be doing a show on Friday. It's Good Friday, and we're all going to be celebrating the Good Friday at our good places, wherever that may be.
Yes. Well, we look forward to being back in the studio as soon as we can. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thanks for listening to Real Life Basketball. I'm Nick Paparelli. That's Doug Lipscomb, and we look forward to talking to you guys next week.
Thank you.